Hi you guys, welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker and welcome back to Show and Tell. I believe it's 182, but I'm not entirely sure. Get you back in the corner over here. Anywho, I hope you guys are having a wonderful or had a wonderful, fantastic week. As you can tell, my videos are a little bit out of my normal order here. So normally we would have a Show and Tell video on Thursday. I just realized I forgot to put my chapstick back on, so I'm looking a little crusty. But, I love this stuff. I threw this in my pocket just because I was running some errands and I just got home. It's uncolored too, but anywho. What was I saying? Out of order video. So, Thursday, we had the final wrap-up review of the yarn and stitches. That was supposed to be Tuesday's video. Today, the show and tell would have been Thursday's video. The reason why these are filmed out of order is the projects I shared in Tuesday's video, or Thursday's video, that were supposed to be Tuesday's video, I wanted to share in the show and tell, but I wanted them to be in order of precedence still. So anyway, I thought refilming this video later in the day would be a little bit better, but apparently not. I'm still just as woo as I was before. So every time I walk outside of my house right now, I am sneezing my face off. So I am on allergy medicine, which makes me a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And we're just going to have to roll on that. So anyway, now that everything on my desk is an utter disaster because this is a refilm. All right, let's start with the yarn and stitches projects first. So first off, month 2, I made the super cute little ear warmer, which we know how many ear warmers I have been just cranking out, but this one was hand knit. To be fair, this one was hand knit. And this cowl. And these are based off the Northern Loop pattern, which I will leave in the description box down below. So, let's do this way because I only have one thing in my basket. Let's pull my bin around here. I can set this on the floor and then I can just drop things into it as I'm done with them. That way I can make room on my desk so I don't knock stuff over. Up next, so we have what was supposed to be my Easter shawl. And I think I said it in that video, but now it's been a couple of hours since I filmed it and I'm not entirely sure. This was supposed to be my Easter shawl, but it ended up being like 29 degrees and raining when we left. So I ended up having to change what I was planning on wearing. I'd planned on wearing a short sleeve dress. And instead, I ended up having to wear a heavy cardigan over a 3/4 length sleeve dress, so I didn't freeze to death. I was lucky I had one that wasn't black. But yeah, so I had to change what I was wearing, so I still haven't had an opportunity to wear this. I was hoping to get some super cute pictures of me in it at the church with the bank of Easter flowers going up the sanctuary steps and stuff, but that didn't happen. So I absolutely love this. This was from March's yarn out of that subscription box. Go check out that video if you want more information about the yarn. However, this is the Sleeping Willow shawl pattern by, I think it's Rachie Newman. I think it's short for like Rachel, R-C-H-Y, R-A-C-H-Y. I don't know though. So it is what it is. Anyway, love this. As I shared on Instagram, and I'll put some pictures at the end of this. I'll have my pet tacks on there of Pippin and Bannerman, but the mallards have had their babies, so I have a little video clip of them, and I have a picture of the little baby chicks floating around behind their mama. I have a little video of them floating around the retention pond up the street from me. I will also have some pictures of the finishing stages of this shawl. I took some pictures of me running the water over it and it pinned out on the blocking mats and everything else. But this was kind of the perfect project at the perfect moment kind of thing. And I was really sad to finish this up because I really, really, really did enjoy working on this together. This was a very nice project altogether. It was like that hygge kind of moment, you know, where you're squished in cozy, and it was the cozy project to work on. I'm hitting that point where my clothes, even though they fit, are starting to chafe because they actually fit properly. And I've been at it for a long time today. So anyway, we do have a couple blocks. I have one corner to corner square based on my tutorial. Well, I did the tutorial because I was making these and somebody asked about them, but 10 row corner to corner using a size I hook and scrap worsted weight acrylic yarn. Same thing with this size I hook, scrap worsted weight acrylic yarn, 10 row granny square. Also, I have a tutorial for how I do my granny squares here on the channel. I will leave links to those in the description box down below, and I will try to put in some iCards too. Up next is we're going on things that I have tutorials for. I have an update on my sock weight blanket that I've been working on. So this is using 3 sock weight yarns held together on my Addie King knitting machine, 300 row tubes. I now have 8 tubes sewn together. We are getting quite weighty. The last time I did a length measurement on it, it came up to my chin. So I think what I'm going to do is stick with either 10 or 11 tubes, because right now we're without a border. We are getting pretty heavy. I don't want it to get like to where I can't pick the blanket up even folded. But I think these are the 4 I added on. No, because I had the hot pink first. Right? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Well, I could actually tell. Yes, this is my starting end. So these are the 4 I had originally. Ow. Knocked myself in the jaw. And these are the 4 I added on in the last week. So 2 or 3 more tubes and then we'll do a border on it and it'll be done. But it is quite weighty, but it still feels so soft. And because it was in the 20s and 30s this last weekend and rainy and yucky and miserable, it was very, very nice to curl up with this and work on this too. Just saying. It was kind of a twofer. I did actually take a nap under it one day on the sofa. I had been working on it and Troy was on the sofa blanket, or him and Pippin were curled up on the sofa blanket. So I just curled up under this and took my nap. All right. Now we're into the WIPs territory here. So I told you guys last week I was in the process of making 4 Bible study / prayer journals. So this is where I am. I've got one done. These are using the an illustrated faith paper pad that I had, and I have just some random die cuts and stuff that kind of coordinate with some of their kits. Anyway, die cut. These are some paper scraps from one of the other journals that I did. This one has the same cover on the outside and then the same cover on the inside. And I did add, you know, like a little die cut on the inside to kind of make it cute. And just randomly throughout it, I have been adding some washi tape. So I guess there's still, I could probably add a little bit more washi tape to some of these pages, because there are kind of huge sections that don't have anything. But as I'm not adding anything to these are literally just for taking notes as I'm doing my Bible study and stuff. I didn't want all the tape stacked up on the edge and making the edge thick. I don't mind that with my craft journals, because I've added stuff into my craft journals, and I'm going to bulk out this part of the book too, not just this part of the book. But these, just because they're for notes, I didn't want to bulk them out. So I don't need washi tape on every page. And I don't need washi tape fanning out the pages, because that's just going to irritate me while I'm writing in the book. All right. So the ones that are not done, these all have their covers, but I haven't done any decorating or putting washi tape in them. We have God loves me more in a moment than anyone else could in my lifetime. I did add a little die cut to the back of this. This is just on the paper. And then we have conversation bubbles on the back. And then this one has verses on the inside cover. I was trying to keep this pretty simple as I was going along with it. I don't need these to be overly decorated or overly done up. I got something being delivered here in a minute, so hopefully I'll be done talking before the doorbell rings. We'll see. With God, all things are possible. This is actually the back cover of another one of my journals. And then we have, yeah. And then this is my favorite one. So I will probably actually take this. I'm doing hoping to do a Bible study class either this spring or maybe in the fall in the mornings. And this is probably what I'll use for that. But I think it's super duper cute. But we have flamingos. There you go. This is the grid splatter page. And then we have polka dots. So I just love the way that looks. It's just very bright and cheerful. So anyway, that's where I am on these. I am making progress on them. I haven't been back down here since like Friday though, a week ago. So it is what it is. Let me pause this, drag that inside real quick, and I will be right back. Okay. So that was just a Costco order, but it had food in it. I needed to go put that up. While I was up there, I retrieved a cup of Maui mango tea from Tiesta. This is very old. It was in my tea box and has been shoved in the back, so I keep forgetting about it. But it is an old tea, very tasty. I do have it not iced, but kind of room temperature-ish in here. But this is really what I want to show you. This is from Pawley Studio, Pawley. I will have them listed in the description box down below. But this is my brand new coffee mug. It is 20 ounces. It is much lighter than it looks like it should weigh. Handmade, custom designed mug. She's got a selection of these you can choose. And then you can choose colors and color gradients. She has 80 bajillion different choices. Absolutely brilliant. They're out of Kentucky, I believe. This is, like I said, 20 ounces. One of the reasons why I got it is it has a nice huge handle, and I did not know this at the time, but it has this brilliant ridge here. So when you're holding your cup, if you have manual dexterity issues, it gives you a place to put your thumb. I'm sorry, like I said, allergy medicine, and I'm still like, wee. I'm having a great day other than the fact I can't stop sneezing every time I walk outside my door. I really do apologize. I'm normally pretty hyper, but I'm not normally this like chipmunky, no breath in between what I'm saying hyper. Anyway, this mug is much lighter than you would think it is based on how it looks, which I absolutely appreciate. It is very easy to hold if you have manual dexterity issues, and you can hold it from the top or the bottom of the handle if you have small hands like me, so you don't spill your coffee or tea. I have filled this all the way up to the brim and had no issue other than I overfilled it getting it around my house since this got here. I love it. I highly recommend checking them out. If you do a custom mug, it does take every bit of that 8 weeks that she says it'll take, or they say it'll take, because it's, I believe, a husband and wife. It takes every bit of the 8 weeks for you to get your cup. Also, there is an option for them to notify you if you want to watch it being made live on their Twitch channel. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. I believe it was Earth Tone Girls. I will leave her tagged. This is going to be a huge description box, you guys. I believe it was her that shared it on Instagram, hers that she found. She was at a gift shop and found it in person. I then went and sought them out and ordered my own mug. So they have nerd themes, crafty themes, wholesome themes. They've got a little bit of everything. I think there was even some D&D like template mugs already. So anyway. If Tiesta Tea is still in business, I will also leave them in the description box down below because they make some amazing teas. They have a green tea that tastes like Fruity Pebbles. The Maui Mango is brilliant. This is a chamomile and rooibos tea. So Anyway, just a little plug for what I'm drinking there and what I'm drinking out of. Next, so if you watched my catching up on 2023 goals video, you will remember me saying I wanted to spend the month of April working on WIPs and UFOs. I've not done very good with that so far this month, but I did finally start one. And by the way, speaking of UFOs, I am wearing my cryptid shirt, including UFOs and aliens. It was not planned when I did this video. Although now I have filmed this section of this video 3 times now. I have pointed that out every single time. That's why it's getting a little dry. The first time it was organic. But I do want to point it out because I really like this shirt. So many of you guys will remember last January 2022, I opened the Aberdeen Wool Co. Advent Calendar for the month of January and started making projects from it, including I finished the socks. I still haven't woven in the ends, but I have the socks made. And the next project was a shawl. I haven't touched it since at least March of last year. So it's been sitting there as a UFO. I came in at the end of this white section, so I started adding in this last darkest color yesterday. So this is the fade. You can see where this is how it kind of goes in pattern. It goes solid, fade, solid. So this is what that fade section looks like. And you can kind of see where I've started the dark color only. I want to call it purple because it's the more dominant color in that. But anyway, I got a lot done yesterday. I've only got like 6 or 8 more rows plus the bind off left to go. So my goal is to have this done by the end of the weekend. Tomorrow is going to be a rainy day, which is another reason why I've been like bouncing off the walls today, because I'm trying to get 80 million things. That's why I had to get a Costco order delivered. I'm trying to get 80 million things done today that involve me being around the outside of my house or leaving my home today, because it's supposed to be thunderstorming all day tomorrow and the first part of Saturday and all day on Sunday. So I will probably lose 3 days of being outside of my house. But, you know, this was not a very pleasant, I mean, I like the shawl, I like the yarn and everything, but the experience of the Advent calendar was not a very good experience for me. And a lot of people kind of felt the same way about it. We're still, I talked to one other lady. She shot me a PM on Facebook out of the group asking if I ever heard back about my broken mug. Because she saw my video of the unboxing, and when I got my mug and it was broken, she was like, oh, that's such a shame. And then she saw me in the group and she's like, oh, hey, I commented on your video. So we've occasionally sent messages back and forth, and she asked whether or not I heard back about my broken mug. And I said, no, they never responded to the video. They never responded to the email that I sent. And most of us that wanted to work the Advent, like one big project, we started with the socks and then started making the shawl, and then realized none of us had the sweater pattern, which was supposed to be what we used all the rest of the yarn for. And to date, none of us have the sweater pattern. So we received no communication and no support whatsoever from them. And so I think a lot of people got a really bad taste in their mouth for the 2021 Advent calendar from them. And there was a lot of smack talk going on in 2022 about it from the handful of people that had gotten the 2021 calendar, about not trusting them and pick your own project in advance because you're not going to get all your patterns and you're not going to get support, and they're just going to pretend like you don't exist. It was a thing. And she asked not too long ago whether or not I'd ever heard anything back. And I said, no, I still haven't heard anything back. And she goes, yeah, I've emailed them again about the sweater pattern and I haven't heard anything back. So none of us know what to do with the last 3/4 of our box, because anything we would have done as an Advent project, we don't have the yarn for now because we did the other projects. And many of us don't really know it, because we assumed that the color combinations are kind of weird. Like, it's cool, but weird. It's kind of like wearing a Technicolor dream coat kind of thing. So like only one person took their yarns and made a different pattern out of it. And it's a really cool, like, roll neck, asymmetrical closure sweater. It's really cool looking, but not really my style. So, a lot of us are just kind of like, we don't know what to do with the rest of the advent calendar now. And I know a number of people burned out on the shawl, realizing that they weren't going to have anything to do with the rest of the yarn. So I'm not alone in this project. A lot of us did just burn out. But I decided to pick this up yesterday. I didn't want to work on the blanket, putting tubes on my blanket. So I did pick this up. This has been sitting in my bedroom now. I have at least one more shawl in there, and I have 2 pairs of socks in there that I know of for sure that need to be finished off. I have one blanket that I know where it is upstairs. That's my hexagon blanket in the bold and blacks. And it seems like, oh, I'm frogging the Cozy Murder Mystery Cowl blanket from 2022 because I just don't like what I did. And I am debating on what to do, whether I restart, because all I have is the January squares for the Jada blanket 2022. And that's because I sent Banner to the vet with one of February squares because he kept cuddling it and I can't find it. It came home with him, but now I can't find either of February squares for that blanket. So I need to redo those or just take those 2, put them in my box of abandoned squares and do something else with the yarn that I have. So anyway, I have some decisions still left to make as far as like finish or frog, but this was definitely a finished project because I had, cut all these ends and woven half of them in. It did take me a minute to kind of figure out where I was in the pattern. I knew I had to be starting this section, but the stitch count's wrong. And that was part of the problem, is everybody had a problem with the stitch count because the stitch count in the pattern's wrong. I had to go back to the Facebook group and look at some of the other comments in there and go back and look at some of the other PMs I got asking me questions about it because I had said something and somebody thought I knew what I was talking about. Anyway, that is the UFO that I picked up. That's my first UFO. The stitch pattern has changed for this last section. This will be where I bind off after this section. We have this beautiful fans and feather. And then we have this. I do want to do the shawl again, though, in probably a solid and really get a feel for what the texture of it is versus doing the color changes. But we'll see how I feel after I get this finished and blocked out, too, because that could change my opinion on that. But this is what I have left of my first 4 colors. So a substantial amount of leftovers again for this one. Same thing with the socks. I had a substantial amount of leftovers with those. I don't think I'm going to have quite as much of this. It'll probably be more like for the purple color here. So anyway, that is where I am on that. I was watching Inside Man, which I highly recommend. David Tennant, Stanley Tucci, and it is produced and directed by Stephen Moffat. If you know who any of those people are, you will understand. That's fantastic. But if you do decide to watch it, if you've seen HBO Rome, the lady playing David Tennant's wife is Cleopatra from Rome. You're going to sit there, if you don't watch a whole lot of British TV, going, who is that? I know that face. Who is that? Who is that? And it's going to drive you crazy. And you're going to feel like an idiot because you don't recognize her because she's very, very distinct looking. In a very pretty, cute way. But she is very distinct looking. And you're just going to sit there. It's Cleopatra from Rome. As I texted my mom, leave it to Stephen Moffat to marry the doctor to Cleopatra. Anyway, if you know, you know. It is fantastic. It is very well written. Beautifully acted. I don't want to give anything away. If I keep talking about it, I probably will. The description does not do it justice for what it is, but you do kind of get an idea of what it is. It's not really, I wouldn't say it's very gratuitous. There is some violence necessary for the storyline, necessary to get to the ending, but it's not gratuitous violence. There's not much cursing in it. It is intense. It is a thriller, and it is an epic people story. I'll say that. I think that's a pretty good way to try to drag you in without telling you anything about what happens in the plot. Other than David Tennant's married to Cleopatra from Rome. I hope you guys are having an amazing, fantastic day. I'm going to go ahead and let it go here. On Tuesday, I should pop in with a very short video pertaining to an interesting comment that I got because of taming the stash. And other than that, it should be back to business as usual. Hopefully we'll have our next box for review coming up soon. I believe that should ship out sometime after the 13th. I can't remember if it's supposed to be the 13th or the 19th. Anyway, that'll be coming soon. So we'll have a new box to review. Get your thinking caps on for what you would like to do if you want to join along for my Spook Your Spring Make Along, as May is exactly enough time to start your Halloween projects, because July will start your Christmas and July stuff. I do have some giveaways over here, so I'm hoping to do some prizes and some just because giveaways along with that. So you guys get your spooky hats on and get ready for some spooky action in the middle of spring and summer. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I love you guys, and please take care. Bye. It's just a bell pepper.
Is it still